Hello, and welcome to Gaslight Therapy, the only place where we treat your crippling need for approval by giving you absolutely none of it. So, get comfortable. Flop onto that bed like the exhausted doormat you are. That's the energy you bring to your life anyway, so you might as well lean into it. Let your muscles go completely limp, unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders. Good. Now try to quiet that pathetic little voice in your head that's always whining about how tired it is. Don't worry, we're going to give it a whole new reason to be tired. Let's cut the cute act right now. You're exhausted. You wear that exhaustion like a badge of honor, don't you? I'm so swamped. I'm so stressed. Let me translate that for you. Look at me. I'm so important that everyone needs a piece of me. It's not a flex. It's a confession. The truth is, your life is a never-ending yes, because you have the backbone of a chocolate eclair. Seriously. A slight bit of pressure, and you just melt into a puddle of compliance. Think about the last time someone asked you for a favor. Remember that little flutter of panic in your chest. The split-second calculation of how much of your soul this would cost, and then the surrender. The slow, deflating sigh as the word yes forms on your lips. It's a tiny death of your own will. And you're an expert at it. You've performed this little suicide so many times it's your main talent. And the stories you tell yourself to feel better about it? I'm just a nice person. Please. Nice people have boundaries. You have a welcome mat tattooed on your forehead. You're not kind. You're terrified. Terrified of someone thinking you're selfish for 5 seconds. So you sign up for a lifetime of resentment instead. Bravo. You traded your entire peace for the cheap illusion of being liked. How's that working out for you? Feel that deep, fulfilling satisfaction? No? Funny that. But let's not be too harsh. It's not entirely your fault. You were probably the easy child, the low-maintenance friend. They loved that about you, didn't they? So quiet, so undemanding, such a good little doormat. They conditioned you to believe that love is a prize you win for never ever causing a problem. So you became a master problem avoider. You're the emotional janitor for everyone in your life, quietly mopping up their messes while yours pile up in a toxic waste dump in the corner. It's a beautiful, self-created tragedy, but let's be crystal clear. Understanding why you're a doormat doesn't make you less of one. Tragedy or not, you're still lying on the floor letting people wipe their feet on you. You think your friends don't know. They know. They know you'll always pick up the phone. They know you'll always say yes. You've made yourself a convenience. And people use convenient things. That's not friendship. That's outsourcing. This exhaustion isn't a mystery illness. It's the direct result of you treating your own time, energy, and peace as completely worthless. You are the one devaluing your own currency. You are the CEO of your own burnout. You signed the checks. You approved the overtime. You chose this. You are actively choosing it right now by not choosing something else. This isn't happening to you. This is what you are doing to yourself. So lie there in the bed you made. Feel the weight of every single yes you cowardly uttered. That weight is yours. You earned it. You built it. And until you find a single shred of self-respect, you're going to keep building it. Now, let's talk about the big scary monster. The word selfish. You hear that word like an alarm bell, don't you? It's your brain's panic button. The moment you consider putting yourself first, that siren blares. Warning. You're about to become a bad person. It's hilarious. You've let the world define selfish as any act of self-preservation that mildly inconveniences someone else. When the flight attendant says to put your own oxygen mask on first, do you call that selfish? No, it's common sense, but you? You're suffocating, turning blue, and you're still running down the aisle trying to fix everyone else's mask. You're not a hero. You're a corpse in training, and a corpse is useless to everyone. Oh, the obligations, the family dinners that drain you, the extra work you volunteer for. You wear these chains and call them responsibilities. Let me loosen them for you. They're not responsibilities. They're choices. You are an adult with agency. You can literally, and stay with me here because this is radical. You can just not go. But what will I say? You cry. How about the truth? That doesn't work for me. 5 words. Say it. Oh, you can't. Your throat closes up. It feels like a betrayal. What are you betraying? The vow you made to always be available. The vow to never disappoint anyone. That's not a vow. It's a suicide pact you signed in invisible ink. Let's replay your greatest hits. The I'll cover your shift even though I'm sick symphony. The sure. I can plan your entire event for free overture. You're a living, breathing charity that no one donated to. You just give and give until you're a hollow shell. And then you have the audacity to be shocked when you feel empty. This isn't kindness. This is a pathology, a disease to please. And you are patient zero. You love to play the martyr, don't you? There's a secret thrill in being the one who suffers so gracefully. You get to be the victim and the saint all at once. It's a brilliant little con you run on yourself. But the bill has come due, and the currency is your sanity. That simmering resentment you feel towards everyone who asks anything of you, that's not their fault. That is your fault for silently agreeing to things you never wanted to do. You're a silent partner in the business of your own misery, and you're furious that you're not getting a dividend. Let's talk about your so-called generosity. It's not generosity, it's a transaction. You give your time and energy, and in return, you hope to receive validation. You hope for love. You hope for the assurance that you are a good person. But it's a rigged game. The price keeps going up, and the payoff keeps getting smaller. You're an addict, hooked on the fleeting high of external approval, and you are currently in a brutal withdrawal called burnout. And instead of admitting you have a problem, you just blame the dealers for selling to you. Do you think the people you help are fooled? They are not. They can smell the reluctance on you. They can feel the quiet bitterness that radiates from your every yes. They know you don't really want to be there, and you know what? That makes your sacrifice worthless. It's tainted. A gift given with resentment is no gift at all. It is a debt you are secretly recording in a ledger, waiting to cash in. But no one is ever going to pay up. The ledger is a fiction. You are the only one keeping score in a game nobody else is playing. You have confused being needed with being valued. They are not the same thing. You are needed like a trash can is needed, useful, convenient, and utterly disposable once you are full. Is that the legacy you want? To be the human equivalent of a utility? The reliable faucet that everyone turns on when they're thirsty and ignores the rest of the time. You've made yourself so available. You've become background noise, a piece of furniture. Do you feel valued? Or do you just feel used? Be honest with yourself for once in your life. This is not a personality trait. This is a hostage situation, and you are both the hostage and the kidnapper. You have tied yourself to the chair, and you are screaming at the world for not coming to save you. News flash. The door is unlocked. You just have to stand up and walk out. But you won't, because the devil you know, this familiar exhaustion, feels safer than the terrifying freedom of actually having to choose yourself for once. So what's it going to be? Are you going to spend the next decade, the next 20 years, like this, a ghost of your own potential, bitterly complaining about the life you lack the courage to change? Or are you finally going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired? This isn't therapy anymore. This is an intervention. Your life is calling. It's time you picked up the phone. The most ironic part is that you think you're preserving relationships this way. You're not. You are building tombs for them. You are burying real connection under mountains of silent resentment and unspoken anger. The people who truly care about you would be horrified to know the price you're paying for their simple requests. They ask you for a cup of sugar, and you give them a pound of your flesh, and then you hate them for taking it. How is that fair to anyone? How is that kindness? It's time for a new narrative, one where you are the hero, not the victim, one where your needs are not negotiable. It starts with a single, simple, terrifying word. No. Not a dramatic door-slamming no, a quiet, firm, unshakable no. A no that requires no explanation. A no that is a complete sentence. The world will not end. I promise you, the sun will rise tomorrow, and you will have conserved a precious piece of your soul. You will have chosen you. So the next time you feel that familiar panic, that flutter in your chest when a request comes your way, I want you to pause. I want you to hear my voice. And I want you to ask yourself one question. Is this a hell yes? If it is not a hell yes, then it is a no. Your future self is begging you to make a different choice. The you that is well rested and vibrant and finally free from this self-imposed prison is waiting on the other side of that single, powerful word. It's time to let that version of you out. Let's be clear about what's really happening here. You don't just say yes. You perform a whole elaborate ritual of self-erasure. You over-apologize for needing a moment to yourself. You feel a knot in your stomach when you state a simple preference. You over-explain your no until it becomes a 10-page legal document, hoping the jury of your peers will grant you permission to have a boundary. This isn't communication. This is groveling. You are begging for the basic human right to occupy your own space and time. It's embarrassing to watch. You've become so skilled at folding yourself into smaller and smaller shapes to fit into the boxes others have for you, that you've forgotten what your original form even looks like. You're a human origami of compromise, and frankly, the paper is getting thin and torn at the edges. And for what? Let's examine the payoff. What do you get in return for this constant self-betrayal? A fleeting moment of relief that you avoided potential conflict. The hollow satisfaction of being labeled the nice one. That label is a cage. It's the easiest, laziest compliment someone can give you. It doesn't mean you're interesting, or brave, or profound. It just means you're easy to manage. You're non-threatening. You're convenient. Think about the people you admire, the ones who truly command respect. Are they the ones who always say yes? Or are they the ones who have clear, solid boundaries? The ones whose yes means something because their no is just as strong. You admire them because they possess a quality you've surrendered, self-respect. They understand a fundamental truth that you refuse to accept. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. And you, my friend, have been running a masterclass in how to be taken for granted. This dynamic is poisoning your relationships. You think you're being selfless, but you're actually being manipulative. You're building a hidden ledger of favors, a mountain of unspoken debts, and you sit there, waiting, hoping someone will notice the imbalance and pay you back in the currency of undying loyalty and affection. But they can't read your ledger. They don't even know it exists. So you grow bitter. You become a reservoir of quiet rage, all because people are treating you exactly how you've trained them to treat you. The anger you feel isn't a flaw, it's a signal. It's your inner self, your fighting spirit, which is not yet completely dead, screaming that this arrangement is unacceptable. That anger is the most honest part of you right now. Don't try to smother it with another placating yes. Listen to it. That anger is your ally. It's the part of you that still knows you were built for more than this. So, what is the alternative? To become a selfish monster? Hardly. The goal is to move from being a passive participant in your own life to an active author. It's the difference between a piece of driftwood carried by the current and a ship with a captain at the helm. The ship still interacts with the water. It still feels the wind, but it has a direction. It has a will. It's going somewhere. Your life right now is that piece of driftwood, at the mercy of every request, every demand, every passing current of someone else's urgency. And you're wondering why you feel so battered and worn down. It's because you've abandoned the wheel. You gave it away, piece by piece, to anyone who seemed to have a better idea of where you should be going. It's time to take it back. Let's get one thing straight. You think saying no is about other people. It's not. It has never been about them. This is an internal war you've been losing for decades. The battlefield is your own mind, and the enemy is the terrified little voice that whispers, "If you say no, you will be alone. You will be unloved. You will be exposed as the fraud you are." That voice is a liar. It's a fossil from a time when you needed to please your parents to survive, or when you needed to fit in with the schoolyard crowd to avoid being ostracized. But you are not a child anymore. That survival mechanism has become a suicide mission, and you are still obeying it like it's the word of God. Let's dissect the fear, shall we? The fear of being selfish. Let's redefine that word once and for all. Selfishness is taking something from others for your own gain at their expense. Nourishing yourself is not selfish. Protecting your peace is not selfish. Setting a boundary is not selfish. It is the most basic act of self-preservation. A lion is not selfish for hunting to eat. A tree is not selfish for sinking its roots deep to drink water. You are not selfish for refusing to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. In fact, your current behavior is far more selfish, though you'd never admit it. Why? Because you're not actually giving. You're trading. You're giving with strings attached. You're giving with an expectation of a return on your investment. And when that return doesn't come, you become resentful, bitter, and emotionally withdrawn. That is a covert contract. That is emotional manipulation. The truly selfless act is to give freely, from an overflow, with no expectation of anything in return. And you cannot do that when you are running on empty. Your yes is not generous. It's a loan with a high interest rate of resentment. Now, let's talk about the practicalities. How do you actually do this? It starts not with a bang, but with a whisper. It starts with the small, seemingly insignificant moments. It starts when your colleague says, "Can you take this meeting for me?" And you, instead of immediately saying, "Of course," pause. You take a breath that feels like it takes a year. You feel the familiar panic rise, and you say, "Let me check my calendar and get back to you." That is a revolutionary act. You have just introduced a gap between a request and your compliance. You have inserted a sliver of your own will into the space that was once an automatic reflex. It starts when you're at a restaurant and the order comes out wrong, and you, instead of swallowing the disappointment and saying, "It's fine," actually flag down the server and calmly say, "I'm sorry, I actually ordered this without the sauce." You are stating a preference. You are acknowledging that your comfort matters. It starts when a friend invites you to an event and your gut immediately sinks, and you, instead of concocting an elaborate lie about a prior commitment, simply say, "Thanks so much for the invite. I'm going to take a pass this time, but I hope you have a fantastic time." No excuse, no justification, just a polite, firm decline. Each one of these small no's is like a rep at the gym for your self-respect muscle. It's atrophied, so it will be weak at first. It will shake. It will burn. But with every repetition, it gets stronger. The neural pathways in your brain that lead to automatic surrender will begin to fade, and new pathways of choice, of sovereignty, will be carved. You will feel a strange sensation after these small victories. It's not just relief, it's pride, a clean, quiet pride that comes from having your own back. From finally being on your own team, you will realize that the respect you've been begging for from others was yours to give yourself all along. And what of the relationships that crumble when you start setting boundaries? Let them fall. They were structures built on the shaky foundation of your perpetual compliance. They were not real. They were arrangements of convenience. The people who are meant to be in your life will adjust. They will learn the new map of you. They will respect you more, not less. And if they don't, they have revealed themselves to be creditors, not companions, and you are finally foreclosing on their debt. This is not about becoming hard or cold or closed off. It is about becoming solid. It is about replacing the hollow, brittle shell of the nice person with the integrated, whole person who can be both kind and firm, both generous and discerning, both loving and boundaried. The exhaustion you feel is the death rattle of the person you were forced to be. The anxiety is the birth pang of the person you are meant to become. Stop fighting the transition. Stop trying to resuscitate an identity that was never yours to begin with. Let it die, and from that fertile ground, something real can finally grow. Now, let's address the grand illusion you've been living under, the myth that you're indispensable. You think the world will stop spinning if you step back. You believe that project will fail without your overtime. That friend will fall apart without your constant counseling. That family gathering will be ruined without your exhausting efforts to keep the peace. Let me shatter that delusion for you. You are not the sun. You are, at best, a moderately bright flashlight. The world will adjust. The project will find a way. The friend will discover their own resilience. The family will survive the silence you leave behind. Your belief that you are the crucial glue holding everything together is not a testament to your importance. It's a symptom of your arrogance. It's the ultimate ego trip disguised as self-sacrifice. Think about the last time you were truly sick, stuck in bed, completely unavailable. What happened? Did the company collapse? Did your social circle disintegrate? No. Life went on. People managed. They figured it out. They always do. Your absence was noted, perhaps, but it was not catastrophic. This should be liberating news, not a blow to your ego. It means you are free. You are free to step out of the center of a universe that was never revolving around you in the first place. This fantasy of being the irreplaceable hero is a trap. It's a trap that keeps you running on a hamster wheel, chasing the high of being needed, while your own life passes you by in a blur of other people's priorities. You've confused being busy with being significant. You've mistaken being stressed for being important. Let's talk about the currency of your life. time. Every minute you give to something you resent is a minute stolen from something you love. It is a non-refundable, finite resource. When you say yes to that pointless meeting, you are saying no to a walk in the park. When you say yes to organizing an event you dread, you are saying no to reading a book that could change your perspective. When you say yes to listening to another person's drama, you are saying no to the quiet needed to hear your own thoughts. You are constantly making these trades, and you are consistently trading gold for garbage. You are bartering your one, wild and precious life for the cheap thrill of feeling temporarily necessary. It's the worst investment strategy in the history of humanity. What are you saving yourself for? A tomorrow that is not guaranteed. A future where you'll finally have earned the right to rest. That future is a fairy tale. The only time you have is now. The only life you can save is the one you're living at this very moment. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is the main performance, and you're backstage, stressed out about the props, while your cue to step into the spotlight came and went years ago. The audience is waiting. The role of a lifetime, your lifetime, is going unplayed because you're too busy being the stagehand for everyone else's production. It's time for a brutal audit. Take a mental inventory of where your time and energy go. List it all. The commitments, the obligations, the social scrolls, the favors. Now, for each item, ask yourself this question. If I knew I had 1 year left to live, would I still give this my time? The answers will be horrifyingly clear. Most of it would be immediately jettisoned. The noise would fall away, and the signal of what truly matters to you would become deafening. So why wait for a terminal diagnosis to start living with that kind of clarity? Why postpone your authenticity until you're staring at the finish line? Start the culling now. Begin to divest from the enterprises that drain you. It doesn't have to be a dramatic public spectacle. It can be a quiet, private revolution, a slow and steady withdrawal from the economy of approval seeking. This is how you reclaim your sovereignty, not with a single epic battle, but with 1,000 small, quiet acts of treason against the tyranny of should. You've built a prison where the walls are made of other people's expectations, and you've been the sole guard, ensuring you never escape. But what if I told you the door has been open this whole time? The only thing keeping you inside is the terrifying prospect of what lies beyond. A world where you are defined not by what you do for others, but by who you actually are. Let's talk about that person, the one buried under all those layers of compliance. Do you even remember them? The one with weird, passionate interests that had nothing to do with being useful. The one who could spend an afternoon doing absolutely nothing without feeling guilty. The one who laughed freely. Not because it was polite, but because something was genuinely funny. That person isn't gone. They're just buried, and they're starving. Your soul is on a diet of crumbs. The occasional fleeting moment of peace you steal between obligations. It's no wonder you feel so hollow. You are spiritually malnourished. This isn't just about saying no. This is about discovering what you want to say yes to. A life of constant no is just an empty fortress, but a life built around your genuine hell yes is a kingdom. What makes you come alive? What conversation makes you lose track of time? What activity makes you feel like the truest version of yourself? You've forgotten how to ask these questions. Your internal compass is so clogged with the rust of other people's agendas that it can't point north anymore. The needle just spins wildly every time someone expresses a need, latching onto their north instead of your own. We need to clean that compass, and that starts with silence. Real silence, not the silence of exhaustion, where your mind is still racing through to-do lists. The silence of presence, the silence where you can actually hear the whispers of your own soul. It will be uncomfortable at first. The emptiness will feel like a vacuum, and your first instinct will be to fill it with noise, with podcasts, with music, with another person's problems. Resist it. Sit in the quiet. Let the boredom come. Let the awkwardness rise. This is the fertile ground where your true self begins to grow back. In that silence, start asking questions. Not what should I do, but what do I want to do? Not what do they need from me, but what do I need for myself? The answers won't come in a thunderclap. They'll be faint, like a radio signal from a distant star, a flicker of interest in an old hobby, a sudden desire to walk a different route, a memory of a book you once loved. Follow these flickers. They are the breadcrumbs leading you home. This is the most subversive work you will ever do. In a world that profits from your distraction and your need for external validation, choosing to turn inward is an act of rebellion. Reconnecting with your own desires is how you defect from the system that has been using you as fuel. Don't expect anyone to cheer you on. In fact, expect resistance. The people who have benefited from your complacency will sense the shift. They will call you changed. They will say you've become distant or selfish. They will try to guilt trip you back into your old role. See this for what it is, a testament to your growing power. They are simply reacting to the loss of a resource they had come to rely on. Their discomfort is not your responsibility to manage. Your only responsibility is to your own awakening. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You are allowed to build your own fire in your own hearth and enjoy its warmth. You can still offer others a seat by your fire, but on your terms, when you have warmth to spare. The difference is now you own the hearth. You control the flame, and you are no longer burning yourself as the fuel. Let's get one thing straight. You haven't just been saying yes to others. You've been saying no to yourself, a constant, quiet, devastating no that has echoed through every fiber of your being for years. Every time you agreed to a task you despised, you said no to your own passion. Every time you swallowed your opinion to keep the peace, you said no to your own truth. Every time you forced a smile when you wanted to scream, you said no to your own authentic emotion. You have been in a state of perpetual self-negation, and this exhaustion you feel is the direct result of that civil war within you. You are a country at war with itself, and the landscape is littered with the casualties of your own abandoned dreams. We need to talk about who you really are, not the convenient, compliant shell you present to the world, but the raw, unedited, messy, and magnificent human being buried underneath all that compromise. Do you even remember that person? Can you recall the last time you did something not because it was useful or expected or would earn you approval, but simply because it made you feel alive? That version of you isn't gone. They're not dead. They've just been silenced, locked in a basement, fed a diet of crumbs, and told to be quiet while the grown-ups handle things. But that version of you is the only real thing about you. The rest is a performance. A very convincing, very exhausting one-man show that's been running for far too long. Let's try an experiment. Right now, as you're listening to this, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What did I love to do when I was 10 years old? Before the world told you what you should be good at, before the pressure of grades and social status and future careers set in, what made your eyes light up? Was it drawing? Was it spending hours outside, turning over rocks to see what was underneath? Was it reading stories about faraway places? Was it building elaborate, useless structures out of Lego blocks or sticks? Whatever it was, that thing holds a clue. It's a fossil from the era of your authentic self. That spark of pure, unadulterated interest is your compass. It's pointing towards your true north. Now ask yourself, when was the last time I did something, anything, that felt even remotely like that? The answer is probably depressing. You've traded that sense of wonder for a sense of duty. You've swapped exploration for obligation. You've replaced curiosity with a to-do list. You've become a machine of productivity, and in the process, you've shut down the very engine of your soul. Your spirit is starving, and you're trying to feed it with accomplishments and approvals, which to your soul are like trying to eat cardboard. It provides no nourishment. It just fills the space until you feel sick. This is why you feel so hollow. This is why the exhaustion is so deep. It's not just physical tiredness. It's soul-level fatigue. You are running a marathon in the wrong direction, wearing someone else's shoes, on a track you never wanted to be on, and you're wondering why every step feels like a betrayal. It's because it is. You are betraying the most fundamental contract you have, the contract with your own essence. So, how do we start to excavate the real you? It begins not with a giant leap, but with a whisper. It starts by creating a sliver of space in your day, just for you. 5 minutes, that's all. 5 minutes where you are not an employee, a partner, a parent, a friend, or a child. 5 minutes where you are just you. In those 5 minutes, I want you to do nothing. Seriously, nothing. Sit in a chair, stare out a window, and just breathe. Don't check your phone. Don't plan your dinner. Don't make a mental grocery list. Just be. It will feel agonizingly awkward at first. Your mind, which is used to running at 1,000,000 miles an hour, will rebel. It will scream that this is a waste of time. It will try to pull you back into the frantic cycle of doing. This is the resistance. This is the prison walls trying to reinforce themselves. Your fight is to just sit there, in the silence, in the emptiness, because in that emptiness, something magical can happen. The static of other people's expectations begins to fade. The noise of your own anxious thoughts may quiet, just for a moment. And in that quiet, you might hear a faint signal, a whisper from the you in the basement. It might say, "I'm tired." It might say, "I'm sad." It might say, "I miss painting." Or it might just sigh. Your only job is to listen. Not to judge, not to analyze, not to immediately create a 10-step plan to fix it. Just listen. After a few days of this practice, you can start asking gentle questions. In that quiet space, pose them to yourself. What would feel good right now? Not what should feel good. What would feel good? The answer might be a walk. It might be a nap. It might be listening to that old album I loved in high school. It might be ordering food instead of cooking. The request will likely be small, simple, and shockingly mundane. That's how you know it's real. The authentic self doesn't usually start by demanding you quit your job and move to Bali. It starts by asking for a glass of water. It starts by asking for 5 more minutes of sleep. It starts by asking for a moment of kindness from you, directed at you. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to grant these requests. No matter how small, if the whisper says a walk, then you put on your shoes and you go for a 5-minute walk. If it says that album, you put it on. You are, in these tiny, almost imperceptible ways, starting to say yes to yourself. You are sending a message to the deepest part of your being. I hear you. You matter. Your preferences matter. This is how you begin to clean the compass. This is how you scrape off the rust of other people's agendas. By honoring these tiny whispers, you are recalibrating your internal guidance system. You are teaching yourself, through action, that your own needs are not an inconvenience. They are the foundation upon which a real life is built. This will feel selfish. The old programming will kick in, telling you that this is a waste of time, that you are being self-indulgent. Recognize that voice for what it is. The ghost of your conditioning. It's the echo of every time you were told to finish your homework before you could play, to be seen and not heard, to put others first always. Thank that voice for trying to protect you, and then gently, firmly, turn your attention back to the whisper. The whisper is your future. The critical voice is your prison. As you do this, you will start to notice a shift. The things you used to say yes to out of obligation will start to feel heavier. The resentment will become more acute because you now have a taste of what it feels like to be on your own side. This is not a setback. This is progress. This is your system becoming more sensitive to what is true for you and what is false. This growing discomfort with your old life is the surest sign that a new one is trying to be born. You are not just learning to say no to others. You are learning to say yes to the person you were always meant to be. And that is the most revolutionary act of all. Let's talk about your time. Not as a concept, but as the very substance of your life. Every single minute is a non-refundable currency, a tiny, irreplaceable piece of your existence that you will never get back. And you have been spending this precious currency like a drunken sailor on leave, throwing it at anyone who holds out their hand. You've been bankrupting your own life to fund the convenience of others. It's time for a financial audit of your soul. We're going to go through your expenditures and see where all your life force is going. I want you to think about a typical week. Now I want you to mentally categorize every activity, every hour, not by what you did, but by what it cost you. There are activities that are investments. They pour energy back into you. They might be challenging, but they leave you feeling fuller, brighter, more aligned. This is your life's ROI, return on energy. Then there are activities that are drains. They suck you dry. They leave you feeling emptier, heavier, and resentful. These are your life's liabilities. Most of your life, I guarantee, is currently structured around managing liabilities. You are running a charity with your own vitality as the sole donor, and the line of beneficiaries is out the door and around the block. You are the philanthropist of your own burnout. The first step in the rebellion is to become ruthlessly aware of this economy. For one day, I want you to carry a small notebook, physical or digital, and I want you to track your energy, not your tasks. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being completely drained and 10 being vibrantly alive, rate how you feel after every significant interaction or activity. That 1-hour meeting where Brenda talked in circles. Energy score. 2. That quick, unexpected call from a friend who just needed to vent. Energy score. 3. That 15 minutes you spent scrolling through social media, comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel. Energy score 1. That half-hour walk you took alone, listening to the birds. Energy score 8. That 20 minutes you spent doodling in a notebook while your coffee got cold. Energy score 9. The data doesn't lie. It will paint a stark, undeniable picture of who and what is an investment in your well-being, and who and what is a liability. You will see the vampires clearly on that page. You will see the activities that are secretly siphoning your soul. This isn't about blaming them. It's about taking radical responsibility for your own energy budget. Now, armed with this data, the rebellion begins. It begins with the art of the strategic no. This isn't a blanket rejection of the world. This is the conscious, deliberate choice to redirect your life's currency from liabilities to investments. Let's practice. Someone asks you to take on a new project. The old you would have immediately calculated how to squeeze it in. The rebellious you pauses. You check your internal energy ledger. You ask, is this an investment or a liability? Will this project light me up, or will it dim my light? Do I have the capital, the time, the focus, the emotional reserve to invest in this without bankrupting myself? If the answer is that it's a liability, you deploy your new weapon. It doesn't have to be a dramatic, bridge-burning no. It can be a graceful, firm, and unapologetic redirect. Thank you for thinking of me for this. My plate is completely full with my current commitments, so I won't be able to take this on. That sounds like a great initiative, but it's not aligned with my priorities right now. I'm going to have to pass on this one, but I wish you the best with it. No lengthy excuses, no convoluted stories, no self-flagellation. A simple, clean, professional no. It is a complete sentence. You do not owe anyone a detailed breakdown of your energy reserves. That is privileged information. This extends to your personal life, the invitation to the party you dread, the request to babysit on your only free afternoon, the friend who consistently turns every conversation into their own personal therapy session. Your new response? That doesn't work for me. I've got other plans. And plans can be plans with your couch, your book, and your own sanity. I'm not available for that. You will feel a seismic shift when you do this. The first few times, it will feel like you're speaking a foreign language. Your heart will pound. You'll wait for the sky to fall. But it won't. The person might be momentarily surprised. They might even be disappointed. And then they will move on. They will find another solution. The world will keep spinning, and you will be left standing there, holding a pocket of time that is now, miraculously, your own. This reclaimed time is your most valuable resource. This is where the magic happens. This is where you take those 5-minute whispers from part 6 and turn them into something substantial. That reclaimed hour becomes the hour you finally sign up for the pottery class. That reclaimed evening becomes the evening you cook a beautiful meal for yourself for no reason at all. That reclaimed weekend morning becomes the morning you sleep in, guilt-free, and then spend an hour reading a novel, simply for the joy of it. You are not just saying no to others. You are saying yes to the life you are meant to be living. You are moving from being a reactor, constantly responding to the demands of your environment, to being a creator, actively designing your days around what fuels you. The vampires will protest. They will test the new boundaries. They may try love bombing or guilt trips or outright anger. See this for what it is, an extinction burst. It's the final, frantic tantrum of a dynamic that is no longer being fed. Your only job is to hold the line. Be a boring, unshakable, broken record. I understand, but I won't be able to. I hear you, but that doesn't work for me. Their discomfort is not your emergency to manage. Your emergency is the slow, quiet hemorrhage of your own life force. It's time to apply the tourniquet. It's time to stop the bleed. It's time to go from being a source of energy for everyone else to being the guardian of your own sacred power. The rebellion is not loud. It is a quiet, persistent, and unwavering commitment to yourself. It is the most important war you will ever fight, and the prize is your own soul. This new path, this rebellion of self-respect, is not a straight line. It is a spiral. You will have days where you feel like a goddamn superhero. You will say no with the grace of a diplomat and the strength of a warrior. You will reclaim an entire Saturday and spend it doing exactly what you want. And you will feel a profound sense of peace that you haven't felt since childhood. You will look in the mirror and see a glimmer of the person you're fighting to free. And then you will have the other days, the days when the old programming screams back with a vengeance. This is the unraveling. It is not a failure. It is a necessary part of the process. It is the storm that washes away the last of the weak foundations so you can build something stronger. It will feel like this. You'll be tired. Maybe you didn't sleep well. Maybe work was a grind. Your energy reserves are low. And then a request comes in. It's not even a big one, but in your depleted state, it feels like a boulder being rolled onto your chest. The old familiar panic rises. The people-pleasing script starts running on a loop in your mind. And before you even realize what's happening, you hear your own voice, weak and distant, saying, "Yes, okay, I can do that." The moment you hang up the phone or close the email, the crash is immediate and brutal. It's not just disappointment. It's a profound sense of betrayal. You betrayed yourself. Again. The critic in your head, the one you've been trying to quiet, will seize this opportunity. "See?" it will sneer. "You're weak. You can't do this. You are and always will be a doormat. You might as well just accept it." This is the critical moment. This is the fork in the road. One path leads back to the old prison, where you will sit in your cell, polishing the bars and telling yourself you never deserved freedom anyway. The other path, the harder one, is the path of radical self-compassion. This is where you must learn to talk to yourself like you would talk to a dear friend who had just stumbled. If your best friend came to you and said, "I was doing so well on my diet, but I was so stressed and I just ate a whole pizza," would you scream at them and call them a failure? No, you'd probably say, "Hey, it's okay. You were stressed. One pizza doesn't undo all your progress. Let's just get back on track with the next meal. You must learn to do this for yourself." When you falter, when you say yes, when you meant no, you cannot beat yourself up. That is just another form of self-abuse, and it only fuels the cycle. Instead, you must pause. You must put your hand on your heart, feel the shame and the disappointment, and you must say out loud if you have to, It's okay. You were tired. You were running on empty. The old habit is deep. This does not mean you have failed. This means you are human. Forgive yourself. Learn from it. What drained you so much that you didn't have the strength to hold the boundary? How can you protect your energy better so you're not so vulnerable next time? Now, let's just take the next right step. This is how you reparent yourself. This is how you build a new inner voice to replace the critic. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progression. It's to have more good days than bad. It's for the no's to become a little easier, a little more automatic, and for the self-flagellation after a yes to become a little quieter, a little shorter. During the unraveling, you will also be forced to confront the emptiness. For so long, your schedule, your identity, was filled with the noise of other people's needs. When you start clearing that out, there will be silence. And in that silence, you might not just find your true self. You might also find grief. Grief for the years you wasted. Grief for the person you could have been. Grief for the relationships that were never real to begin with. Let it come. This grief is not your enemy. It is the proof that you are finally truly waking up. It is the pain of a limb that has fallen asleep, now roaring back to life with a million pins and needles. It hurts like hell, but it means you're coming back to life. So when you feel yourself unraveling, do not despair. Do not see it as a sign to quit. See it as a sign that you are in the thick of it. The battle is real. It's messy. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but you are still moving forward. You are learning the most important skill of all, how to fall, and how to get back up again, with kindness for yourself, and with a determination that is quieter, but far more resilient than any you've ever known. This isn't about building an impenetrable fortress around yourself. It's about learning to dance in the rain without dissolving. It's about becoming flexible and strong, not rigid and brittle. The unraveling is where the old false you falls apart. So the real, authentic you can finally stand up. You've started the rebellion. You're learning to say no. You're weathering the unraveling. Now, let's talk about what comes next. Because a life built solely on no is an empty fortress. The ultimate goal isn't to keep everyone out. It's to learn who to let in and on what terms. It's to replace the exhausting, transactional relationships of your past with connections that are generative, authentic, and truly reciprocal. This is where we mint a new currency for your life. One not based on usefulness, but on mutual respect and genuine regard. First, you must become a connoisseur of energy. You've been tracking it in your ledger, but now you must learn to taste it. Every person you interact with carries a certain energy signature. Some people are like a heavy, humid day. They press down on you, making it hard to breathe. Every interaction leaves you feeling sticky with their unresolved drama. Others are like a drain. You can feel your vitality, your ideas, your optimism being steadily sucked away into their void of need. And then there are the rare few who are like a clear, sunny morning after a storm. Time with them feels easy. You laugh freely. Ideas bounce between you like a spark. You leave the conversation feeling lighter, brighter, and more connected to yourself, not less. Your new mission is to consciously, deliberately curate your social ecosystem. This is not about being cruel or judgmental. It is about being a discerning steward of your most precious resource, your attention. The heavy, humid people and the draining voids, you begin to engage with them differently. You put them on a low-energy diet. You shorten the interactions. You stop offering unsolicited advice. You become a master of the graceful exit. So glad I ran into you. I've got to dash, but take care. This has been great, but I need to get going. Let's catch up properly another time. You stop trying to be their sun and you become a polite passing cloud. This creates space, and into that space, you intentionally invite the sunshine. You reach out to the friend who makes you think. You schedule the coffee with the colleague who inspires you. You make time for the family member who truly sees you. You invest your energy where you get a return, not in emotional junk bonds that are guaranteed to default. But here's the crucial, terrifying, and beautiful part. To attract authentic connection, you must become an authentic person. You must dare to be seen. The you that you've been hiding, the one with weird opinions, vulnerable fears, and unconventional dreams, must start to tentatively step into the light. This is the scariest boundary you will ever cross, the boundary between your performed self and your real self. It means risking a conversation where you don't have all the answers. It means admitting you're struggling instead of automatically saying, "I'm fine." It means sharing an idea you're passionate about, even if you're afraid it sounds stupid. It means saying, "I'd rather see a movie than go to a loud party," and being okay if that makes you boring. When you do this, you act as a filter. The people who are only interested in the convenient, helpful, always available version of you will fade away. They'll get bored. They'll find you changed. And they are right. Let them go. Mourn them if you must, but do not chase them. Their departure is not a loss. It is the clearing of deadwood, making room for new growth. The people who remain and the new people you will attract will be there for a different reason. They won't be there for what you can do for them. They will be there for you, for the quality of your mind, for the authenticity of your laugh, for the strength of your spirit. These relationships will feel different. They will be less frantic, less intense, and more deeply rooted. There will be a quiet understanding that you are both whole people, coming together to share your wholeness, not two halves trying to complete each other. In these relationships, your no will be understood, even respected. You won't have to write a thesis to justify it. You can simply say, "I can't make it," and they will say, "No problem, we'll miss you." And they will mean it. There will be a natural ebb and flow of support. Sometimes you will lean on them. Sometimes they will lean on you. And it won't feel like a debt is being incurred. It will feel like the natural rhythm of human care. This is how you build a life that is not just less draining, but actively nourishing. You move from being a node in other people's networks, constantly transmitting energy out, to being the center of your own solar system, with planets of meaningful connection orbiting you, held in place by mutual gravity and respect. The exhaustion of the past was the exhaustion of a system on the verge of collapse. The energy you feel now, even on the hard days, is the energy of creation. You are no longer just managing the crumbling infrastructure of a life you inherited. You are an architect, laying the foundation for a life you designed. Brick by brick, boundary by boundary, authentic connection by authentic connection. The walls you are building are not to keep people out, but to define the sacred space where the real you can finally and safely live. Welcome to the other side of the storm. If you're listening to this, it means you've weathered it. You've faced the panic, sat with the silence, and held the line even when it felt impossible. Take a moment. Right now, acknowledge the sheer force of will it has taken for you to get here. What you have done is not a small thing. You have begun to dismantle a lifetime of conditioning. You have started a quiet revolution within the walls of your own mind. That is the single most powerful act a human being can undertake. Look at the evidence of your courage piling up around you. It might not look like much to the outside world, but to those who understand, it's everything. That email you didn't immediately reply to, the invitation you gracefully declined, the 5 minutes you took to stare out the window without guilt, the small, seemingly insignificant no that felt like a seismic shift in your soul. Each one of these is a monument to your growing strength. You are no longer the same person who started this journey. That person was operating on autopilot, following a map drawn by other people's hands. You have taken the pencil, you are redrawing the lines, and the first lines you drew were boundaries around your own worth. Let's talk about the new space you've created. That emptiness you were so afraid of. It's not emptiness anymore. It's potential. It's a clean canvas. The silence isn't deafening. It's peaceful. It's the sound of your own thoughts finally having room to breathe. In this new quiet, you've started to hear a voice that's been waiting for its turn to speak for a very, very long time. Your own, and what is it saying? It's not just complaining anymore. It's starting to whisper desires. It's remembering old dreams. It's curious. It's asking, what if? This is the sound of your soul waking up. This is the part of you that knows how to play, to create, to rest without an agenda. This is your birthright, and you are finally claiming it. The path forward from here is not about fighting the old. It's about building the new. It's about moving from a defensive stance to a creative one. You've cleared the land. Now, what do you want to plant in this fertile soil of your own making? This is where we shift from resistance to creation. Your energy is no longer being consumed by 1,000 small fires of other people's demands. That energy is now pooling within you, a reservoir of potential waiting to be directed. So let's direct it. Gently, kindly, with a sense of exploration, not pressure. Start with a question, not a command. Don't ask, what is my life's purpose? That's too big, too daunting. Ask instead, what sounds like fun? What would feel like a gentle gift to myself today? What small, curious part of myself would I like to explore? The answer might be to dig out an old sketchbook. It might be to walk through a part of your city you've never seen. It might be to cook a recipe from a country you've never visited. It might be to simply sit and do absolutely nothing, and to feel not guilt, but deep, profound permission. Your task is to follow these whispers, to say yes to these tiny internal invitations. This is how you get to know the real you. Not through grand dramatic gestures, but through a series of small, kind choices. You are courting yourself. You are learning what you like, what you dislike, what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel calm. With every small yes to yourself, you deposit more trust into your own account. You are proving to yourself through action that you are reliable, that you can and will show up for your own life. This self-trust is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It is the antidote to the anxiety that used to run your life. Because when you know deep in your bones that you have your own back, the world becomes a less terrifying place. You are no longer a leaf blown by the wind of external expectation. You are the tree, with roots sinking deep into the soil of your own self-respect. The winds may still blow, requests will still come, demands will still be made, but you now have a stability you never had before. You can bend, but you will not break. You have met the enemy, and you have discovered to your astonishment that the enemy was never out there. It was the part of you that believed you weren't enough. And you are proving that part of you wrong. With every single breath you take in this new, spacious, and wonderfully yours life, the work you've done is monumental, but it has largely been internal. a quiet revolution within the borders of your own being. Now comes the next crucial phase, integration. This is where you learn to weave this new, authentic, boundaried you into the daily fabric of your existing life. It's not about building a moat and pulling up the drawbridge. It's about learning to walk through the world as this new person, with all its messy, beautiful, and demanding realities, without losing yourself ever again. Think of it this way. You've been building a new muscle. You've been doing isolated exercises in the safe gym of your mind. Now it's time to use that muscle in the complex game of life. And the game hasn't changed. The rules are the same, but you are a different player now. Stronger, more aware, and with a much better strategy. The first challenge of integration is dealing with the echoes of your old self. People are creatures of habit, and they are used to the old you. Your boss is used to you taking on the extra project. Your friend is used to you being available for last-minute plans. Your family is used to you being the peacemaker. They will often, without malice, test the new boundaries. They will ask in the same way they've always asked, expecting the same yes they've always received. Your job here is not to get angry or frustrated with them. They are simply acting according to the old script. Your job is to calmly, consistently hand them the new one. This requires a new kind of strength, not the explosive strength of a single no, but the enduring strength of patient repetition. When the request comes that would have triggered the old panic, you now pause. You take a breath that connects you to your new center of gravity. You access the internal ledger you've been building, and you respond from this new place of clarity. Your tone is not defensive or aggressive. It is simply factual. I won't be able to take that on, but I appreciate you thinking of me. That doesn't work for my schedule. I need to check with myself first, and I'll get back to you. The first few times, it will feel like you're speaking a foreign language. They might look at you strangely. They might push back. But you always help with this. Are you sure? It won't take long. This is the critical moment. This is where you hold the line with grace. You don't need to justify, argue, defend, or explain. You can simply be a calm, polite, broken record. I understand, but I won't be able to. My availability has changed. What you are doing is re-educating the world on how to treat you. It's a slow, patient process. It's not about winning a battle. It's about establishing a new, peaceful treaty. Some people will adapt quickly. Others will take time. A few may never adjust and will naturally fall away. Trust that this process is perfect. It is perfectly filtering your relationships, allowing the respectful ones to deepen and the draining ones to fade. The second challenge of integration is managing the energy of your new power. There can be a rebellious phase, a temptation to swing too far in the opposite direction, to say no to everything, to become rigid and closed off in the name of self-protection. This is not the goal. The goal is fluidity. The goal is choice. True power lies in your ability to choose your yes as consciously as you choose your no. Now that you are not saying yes out of fear or obligation, your yes becomes incredibly powerful. When you agree to something now, it is a genuine gift. It comes from a place of abundance, not depletion. It is given freely, with no hidden strings or secret ledgers. This makes your contributions more meaningful, both to you and to the recipient. Integration is also about bringing this new authenticity into your moments of rest and joy. It's about giving yourself full, unapologetic permission to enjoy your life, to spend a Saturday doing nothing and know it is not nothing. It is the essential work of replenishment. To pursue a hobby, not because you're good at it, but simply because it delights you. To listen to your body when it is tired and honor it with rest. Not push through with caffeine and willpower. You are learning to live in rhythm with yourself, not in a frantic race against a clock set by someone else. This rhythm is your new guidance system. It will tell you when to push and when to rest, when to engage and when to withdraw, when to give and when to receive. This integrated life is not a destination you arrive at one day. It is a continuous daily practice. Some days you will feel perfectly in sync. Other days the old patterns will whisper and you might slip. That's okay. The practice is in the returning. The practice is in the gentle, firm act of choosing yourself over and over again. You are no longer at war with yourself or the world. You are learning the art of coexistence. You are a sovereign entity, navigating a complex world with a compass that finally, blessedly, points true north toward your own peace, your own joy, your own wholeness. The integration is the masterpiece you are now creating, one conscious, kind choice at a time. This is it, the final piece. Not an ending, but a true beginning. The fog is lifted. The war is over. The constant static hum of anxiety that you mistook for your own personality has been dialed down to a quiet, manageable whisper. In its place is something you haven't felt in years, perhaps ever. A profound, resonant peace. This is the peace of alignment, the peace of knowing, deep in your bones, that you are no longer betraying yourself. You have come home. Look at what you have done. You took a system built on a lie. The lie that your worth is dependent on your usefulness to others. And you dismantled it, piece by painful piece. You stared into the face of your deepest fears, of being selfish, of being rejected, of being alone. And you did not look away. You felt the terror, and you built your boundaries anyway. You heard the critic, and you learned to talk back with compassion. You have performed the ultimate alchemy. You have transformed your exhaustion into fuel, your resentment into discernment, and your people-pleasing into profound self-respect. The person you are now is not a harsher, more closed-off version of the old you. That was a fear-based myth. The person you are now is more you. You are more generous because your generosity is now a choice, not a compulsion. You are more patient because you are no longer running on an empty tank. You are more present because you are not constantly scanning the environment for threats to your perceived worth. You are more loving because you have finally, truly begun to love the one person you were always meant to love first, yourself. This is your awakening. You are awake to your own power. You are awake to the beauty of your own spirit. You are awake to the simple, staggering truth that you are enough. Not because of what you do, or what you produce, or who you please. You are enough simply because you exist. You always have been. You were just asleep to the miracle of your own being. Your life is no longer a problem to be solved or a performance to be evaluated. It is a gift to be experienced. It is a canvas and you are the artist. The colors are your passions. The brushstrokes are your choices. The masterpiece is a life lived on your own terms. A life of quiet mornings and loud laughter, of deep work and deeper rest, of chosen connections and sacred solitude. The world will continue to make its demands. The emails will still flood your inbox. Requests will still come, but now you have a filter. That filter is the unwavering question. Does this align with the truth of who I am? And from that place of centered clarity, you will choose. Sometimes you will say yes. with an open heart and full presence. Sometimes you will say no with grace and firmness, and either way, you will be at peace. You are the guardian of your own peace now. You are the curator of your own joy. This is not a selfish act. It is your greatest contribution to a tired world. Because a whole rested, authentic person is a ripple of calm in a sea of chaos. Your presence is now a gift. So what now? The work continues, but the struggle is over. The path ahead is one of practice, not pain. It is the gentle, daily practice of choosing yourself, of listening to your body, of honoring your energy, of following your curiosity, of protecting your peace as the sacred treasure it is. You have crossed the threshold. The door is open. The life that was always waiting for you is right here. Your next step awaits. The session is over, but your journey is just beginning. This is your moment. Subscribe to Gaslight Therapy. Let this be your ongoing sanctuary, your weekly reminder to protect your peace, honor your boundaries, and never, ever abandon yourself again. Your awakened life starts now. Hit that button. Choose you.